Oh, hey, Joe Mama. um, I was actually just testing this out. How are you? I was trying to figure out if I could make it work. I didn't really expect anybody to be up right now, except maybe, well, I guess a few people could be, but um, you didn't get a notification for part three. I wonder why. I don't, um, I don't know if I did anything different. And I have four more parts. I believe it will end up being four more parts that I'm working on they're done. They just need the little final touches and editing and the uploading. So um, I just got sidetracked a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna text you to see if you can still. Playing with this whole. I actually just figured out I thought I had to download something else in order to be able to go live. Um, but then I figured out I just need to push a different button. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna push some buttons here and see what they do. Oh, good. Oh, good. Very cool. There we go. I put you as a moderator. Hold on just a second. All right. Sorry, my daughter just gave me a goodnight kiss on the cheek. I was just kind of checking to see what would work, but mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay, so I see that someone else is watching. Just FYI, this is my first live stream. I just really wanted to play with it and check it out and see what all the different buttons did. So I didn't really have anything brilliant to say. Um, Although I know that some of you have been watching the videos on the PEDO stuff, and yeah, that's by the comments coming in on those videos. Um, yeah, it's not easy stuff. I mean, I guess I kind of knew some of what was out there, but I had no idea the depth of what was out there. Um, and I had this idea that this has been something in the works for decades, and that um, that it's been that the slippery slope that we always said it was, and they tried to convince us that it wasn't. Um, and so I wanted to trace that back. So that's actually what started it. I wanted to go back because it's that same argument. And I said this. I don't know if it's in one of the clips that I've already posted, but in one of the clips, I make a comment about um, how they always said that certain steps that we were taking in society that they were trying to normalize, they were about love, they were about orientation, they were about whatever. Hey D, um, and so that's we've yeah, and so it has been the um, frog in the boiling water, right? It has been that thing where, and I think that conservatives, I think Christians, I think in general, a lot of people aren't really activists, right? They are raising their families, they're going about their business, they're going to their jobs. Um, we have enough to do, enough to worry about, enough to take care of. Um, that it's that extra step, right? We have to do so much more to get involved politically or to um, in activism in some way. And so um, and it is they use emotional manipulation so well that um, you don't want to be seen as the bad guy, right? And what is amazing is that they have been able, and I'll say leftist at this point, but it's more than that. But they have been able to write this narrative that they are the compassionate ones, that they are the ones who care. Um, you know, not that they're the ones who want to kill babies or that want to keep minorities in some little box. I always thought, even with things like, oh, what's that thing called? Oh, the thing where they that helps get minorities into college, into jobs, and it's slipping my mind right now. But I always thought, how rude that you would think that they would need help, that you would think that they couldn't get into college on their own work or on their own merits, that they couldn't get a job um, because they're capable, that they need someone to say, because of your color, then we're going to give you this thing, whatever it is. And I don't know, I grew up um, in the military. My dad was in the military, and we color wasn't a thing for us. Oh, hey, Headless. Okay, this just started because I just figured out how to go live, and I was just trying to play with buttons and see, and then Joe Mama showed up, and so I didn't actually have a plan. I just had a plan to play and check it out. But then I just started talking. Um, anyway, yeah. In uh, growing up in the military, we didn't have color. That wasn't an issue. We just, um, I mean, if you were a jerk, you were a jerk. It didn't matter what color you were. If you were nice, you were nice. It didn't matter what color you were. Um, and so that's how I've always looked at things. And this obsession with color now, this obsession with identifying everyone as a sex or a color or a some sort of segment of the population, it's just ridiculous. We don't need to be segmented. Um, we are all God's children. He made us all, no matter our color, no matter our sex. Um, so, anyway, I am rambling now. I feel a little bit like Bill. um, what do you guys think? Do you guys have anything that you want to talk about or want to say? Like I said, I just planned on coming in here and playing with buttons. Your mama got a wrench because she was first in here, and I was like, oh, look, I can make her a wrench. So it's late for you guys, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of late for me, and it's got to be really late for y'all. So I was saying just a few minutes ago, too, um, um, that I have, I believe, what will be four more segments for for the systematic normalization of the PEDO um, um, series. It's an hour and 50 minutes total, or at least that's what it started out as. I've just kind of figured out how to clip some things and cut some things and edit um, and that kind of good stuff. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be about um, seven segments. So, and the others I think should be up tomorrow. They're pretty close to ready. So you just woke up headless. Wow. What time is it? It's 2:30 fish time. Fish my time. Oh, ish. Okay. Oh, I love ish. Ish is one of my favorite things. I add ish to everything because it allows me to I guess maybe not commit to anything. Why did you just wake up headless? You get up at 2:30? It's about 11:30 my time. So I'm I'm still good. Ah, going to an auction. That's cool. I haven't been to too many auctions, but I've been to a few, and those are fun. Kind of crazy, intimidating for me. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to go at 5 a.m. That's. Whew. I generally only do that if I um, am going to catch a plane. Need more produce sold out. So you sell produce? You farm? Oh, yeah. Really? Wow. Okay, I'm so confused. Because I knew you retired, and I won't put in here from what, because I don't know if that's something you want to share on this stream. But huh, that's cool. So you're going to go to the auction, and you okay, you take your produce to the auction, and they auction it off. Is that right? And I should ask you guys if my sound is okay. Oh, you're buying. Okay. Oh, you need more produce because you're sold out. Gotcha. So you have a store or a like a farm stand? Thank you, Dee. Oh, cool. Good. Thank you. Very cool. I didn't know that you could get produce at an auction. I mean, not that I've looked into it, so I'm probably sounding extremely ignorant here, but it's true. I am ignorant in this regard. So, no, I understand that. My no part of me would be awake at 2:30 unless I'm still awake, which I sometimes am. Headless is Amish? Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Oh, that's cool. Do they have those auctions often? Because I mean, with produce, it seems like that would be. Oh, okay. The auction is Amish, not headless. I thought, huh? I didn't think he was. 60 tomatoes for $15. Well, cool. That's awesome. So, do you also grow your own 3 days a week? Where do you live? Because it seems like, I mean, yeah, I mean, here we don't really have much growing time. Oh, okay. All right. Well, cool. Very cool. So you went from working to working. Oh, I would not think that you'd have a whole lot of produce there at this time of year. But again, something I'm very ignorant on. I have not been, well, definitely to the Northeast. I went to Baltimore once, I went to DC once, and I've been to Florida. Hang on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry. I had another child come in. I don't need them to be on camera. So, um, just reading the chat. Okay, so it's brought in. That's very cool. That's very cool. I live a little bit out, and so Um, I'm not really around. I mean, there are farmers markets, but um, as far as when they run, and they're about 30 minutes away. So excuse me, sorry, unless I'm actually um, in the area, then I don't, go to the farmer's market. Anything really is a trip for me. So very cool. So up at 2:30, do you have to be at the auction at 5 or do you have to leave by 5? And how far away is your auction? And KK, if you're listening, hi. I hope you're feeling better soon, at least. Love you, girl. Oh, you got to get on the road. um, Sorry, didn't mean to tell you what to do. I was just thinking that if it's 2:30 now. So anyway, I could probably talk on and on. I might. Oh, I can change my color, huh? Huh. Oh, okay. That's good. Okay. You're not multitasking this one. I might have to have you go live and show your journey. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I do work meetings online a lot, and when I start yawning, I'll just tell them, "Oh, sorry, looks like I'm boring myself even, so I must be boring you." So anyway, I don't know. I mean, there's so much I could talk about, but I also don't want to just sit here and blab either. Lots of time to do that. I have some ideas um, for additional videos, and I want to talk about the lies of the feminism movement, of the feminist movement, I guess. Um, Not quite as in depth as I did um, with the PEDO, excuse me, videos, but just a few minutes to kind of share um, my random thoughts on it. But so that'll be fun because I feel very strongly about the lies of the feminist movement. So, oh yeah, that'd be cool. I know. I tell you what, Dee, I am terrible. I always laugh that I'm very weak-minded because if anyone even says the word yawn, I mean, honestly, I'm fighting it right now just having looked at your word because if anyone even says yawn, I will start yawning. If anyone yawns, I'll yawn. Okay, how's that? I tried to save you from that one. um, so yes, apparently I have a very impressionable mind. So, in fact, those who know me well um, will mess with me and will do it on purpose. They'll even do fake yawns on purpose just because they'll know it'll set me off. They think it's this fun little challenge. So, Funny, I don't know that I've ever actually played with emojis while in here, and um, oh, thank you, Dee. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, fun stuff. We still have a fourth, so maybe KK is watching. So, and I don't know much about what was it that she has? It's not appendicitis. It's an itis though. And I was wondering if that's one of those things that needs, and like, do you possibly need surgery? Pancreatitis. Okay, I knew it was an itis. Another area. See, um, I know a little bit about a lot and a lot about a very few things. But uh, yeah, I definitely have my blocks in knowledge. So that seems like I keep hitting the table too. That seems like something that might need surgery, but I, again, I don't know. So anyway, um, is there anything that you guys want to talk about or? Oh, okay. All right. Oh, a couple weeks. That does not sound fun. Mm, sorry. Um, yeah, I've been very blessed with health issues. My own. I've had a lot of family health issues that, um, so I am kind of an expert in some of those things. I know, right? um, I I know how to respond to emergencies. I'm not great with blood, but I've been through heart attacks and um, congestive heart failure and um, infections like, uh, well, infections that make the elderly nuts, like um, UTIs, um, which amazingly uh, mess up the elderly quite a bit. Um, I've now learned that if you have someone who's, oh, hey, Brad, you popped up there. I was not expecting to see you. Hey, so I started this because I was just kind of playing. I finally figured out how to go live. I thought I needed to download something, and so I just started this to play with some buttons. And Jolana popped on, and then um, she texted out and D. So James, they're sharing in my pain with shared yawns. Um, Apparently, I'm not the only one that yawns on cue. So, did you watch? Um, did you watch my videos, James? Did you see those? I made them short just for you. Just kidding. That's the only way I could get them to load. They wouldn't load as in the longer formats. I don't know. I didn't catch that one. I wish I could unretract so I could see what it says. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a ton, in your line of work. I, the one thing that I have seen that I like I said, I don't really do blood, but thankfully around here, it's been more, like heart attacks and stuff like that, so hasn't been blood. But, my father-in-law, when he was dying of dementia, he, we went to visit him in the hospital, and I brought my kids and all that because we thought maybe it would be the last time that we saw him. And we walked into the hospital room, and I was not expecting it at all, but, he had his hospital blanket off of him because, what we didn't know at the time was that he was impacted or something, and, and he so his belly was really, really extended, and, but everything else on him was skin and bones because he was having he wasn't eating much and all that. And, so we walked into the hospital room, and I literally thought he looked like, um, the pictures you see of concentration camp survivors, or maybe not even survivors sometimes. And, oh my gosh, that scarred me, I mean, at my age, and my kids, I just walked my kids in without because I didn't realize what we were gonna be seeing, and, oh, I felt so bad. I had my baby girl kind of hiding behind me because um, that one was bad. Yeah, I tell you what, as I was researching, I mean, I spent weeks researching. I mean, I've heard a lot about this stuff over months and months, but then to sit there and really be intentional about gathering the information in one area and what videos and what it's hard to take for a while. And I'd actually presented that to a different group, to a work group of mine, and I told them, okay, ladies, let's pray. We need to be praying before we go into this because it's tough. And it was in one setting. It was all in one setting when I presented it to them. So it was a lot and very overwhelming. And um, yeah, it's not an easy topic to begin with. And then when you start to realize how um, how far it's gotten and how ingrained in so many things it is, and um, like one of you guys commented about, you know, parental rights, and that's the big thing is that um, they're doing it in ways that parents aren't even aware sometimes of what's going on, of what their kids are being exposed to. And I mean, that's not even counting the information, uh, just even for sex ed for the schools now, and what they're doing, um, what they're introducing in 5-year-olds to, really, and the questionnaires that they're asking, 5-year-olds. Um, Children need to be able to stay innocent. Um, they aren't sexual beings. Um, as some of the people in those videos were referring to, or in the articles, some of the quotes that they are these sexual beings. No, a 5-year-old is not a sexual being. They're just not, unless you have warped them to be. And even then, that's not um, that's not authentic. So, okay, I don't want to get off on that rant. I could totally talk about it, but yes, it is a lot. So, um, I appreciate you guys watching and commenting because it's good to know that I'm not the only one kind of in the land of crazy, if that makes sense. So, Right. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. And I mean, how do you talk to someone who feels like, yeah, agreed. Um, how do you talk to someone who feels like a 4-year-old should be able to consent? Um, a 4-year-old doesn't even know what they're consenting to. How can that be the age of consent? Um, I don't know if it's in one of the videos that I've already posted, or in one of the upcoming ones, but there's one where it actually says, before, um, oh, well, they were talking about age of consent being lowered to age 4, but then there's a saying of before 8, before it's too late. And it's like, are you kidding me? Um, I mean, how do you talk to people who believe that, who believe that a 4-year-old or an 8-year-old, um, not only can give consent, but in some of those cases is actually coming on to an adult. They're actually, um, making advances or instigating it, um, that they're the ones in control. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you talk to someone who believes that. So, I mean, how you talk to them, sure, but if you're going to get anywhere is another thing. Right? Yeah. Um, the beautiful thing is, I will say, um, and I've seen this, in my own life. The beautiful thing is that God can restore anything, um, and He can, excuse me, He can renew anything. And one of the things that I've gotten to see, in seeing some of the, SRA victims, survivors, um, in their interviews, you know, I've seen several of them talk about how they were, they knew God's presence even when they were very young. They knew God's presence even when they were going through the worst of tortures and just horrible things. Um, in that clip, oh, okay, it's in I think the next clip I'll be posting. Um, there's a YouTuber named Kaz who, um, was reading Fiona Barnett's book aloud, and she read, I think it's about 23 chapters, I think, an intro and 23 chapters. And so, it's about 23 hours or so worth of time, 23, 24 hours. But I listened to that, um, almost nonstop over a few days. Um, excuse me. And, that's one of the things that Fiona talks about. She talks about God's presence. She talks about knowing Jesus and knowing that He existed, and, his when she was locked in a cage with kids as a torture technique. Uh-oh. Um, okay. Anyway, when she was locked in a cage with these, younger children, and she was having a conversation with them, these kids had not been, they'd never been outside. They'd never seen the sky. And she was describing, it to them and the grass and all that kind of stuff. And she talks about how they said, "Oh, we know that place because the light man, you know, has told us." And she said, "Yeah, it was Jesus. Jesus had shared these things with them." So it's just as horrible as all of this is. God is bigger. God is bigger. God is bigger. And um, no matter how evil and how satanic and how um, horrible this all is, um, God is bigger. God is more powerful, and He um, He's the victorious one. So, uh, in all of this, that is the bright side, and that's the benefit. But I still, um, I just have never believed that we're to lay down and to just wait for God to come and take care of it all. Um, that we need to be we need to be working for him. We need to be allowing him to work through us in whatever way that is, and um, however, whatever position he puts you in life, you know, and with whatever gifts and talents he gives you. Um, so yeah, that's why I finally decided I needed to share because I wanted to. Um, I don't want to be quiet about it anymore, and I don't want to. Um, People need to know this. People need to know what's in our schools. People need to know what's in our court systems. People need to know, hey, hey, Robert Wallace. Um, people need to know what's happening behind the scenes and underground, um, so that they can speak up. Um, you know, you can't do anything. You can't say anything. You can't stop it if you don't know about it. And that's, I think, one of the um, skills of the other side is um, slipping things under the radar and um, walking things out, having things happen before other people realize that they're even happening. So this, I feel, very one-sided. See, we should have had a group call. Y'all are all up. All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. And yeah, D, I'm helping you get tired. Might, yeah, I'm a little bit more. I'm stopping that one. Um, yeah, I'm fighting it right now. I'm trying not to yawn. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, I didn't actually um, intend on this being a show. I just intended on coming on and uh, playing with some buttons and figuring out how this thing worked. So, sorry, D. You just got outside in the. You just got inside out in the garden. Oh, is it? You must have some light out there to help with that. Either that or you were uh, gardening in the dark. You need to send some of your produce to Headless because he's needing some more. He had to get up very early in order to be able um, to go get some more produce. Headlamp, huh? You are committed. And I don't mean that in a straitjacket kind of a way. I meant that in committed to the process kind of a way. Oh, yeah, full moon. See, I don't have yeah, I bet. I don't have, uh, James or Robert's, um, skill in guitar. I don't have a piano that I play. I don't play piano. So I don't really have a way of, you know, entertaining. This is all the talent I got, people. But I do enjoy very much listening to Robert's shovel and um, when Bill plays the piano. I mean, I've only heard him play it once, and I've gotten to hear James play. So that's always fun for me. That's good stuff. I enjoy other people's talent and wish I had those. So, oh, I'm sure you have talents, Joe Mama. I'm sure you have plenty of talents. So, oh, really? So I did get in on the one time. Oh, hey, Robert Nozawa. How are you? Okay, I know Bill went to bed. He's gonna be like, what? You all went on and I wasn't there? In fact, I was telling him because I couldn't figure out how to go on live, and I thought I needed to download something, and he was like, "Hmm, I don't know what you're talking about." And I figured out that I just had to push a different button to go a different direction, and that allowed me to go live. So it was 11 something my time. I didn't expect anybody to really be up, so I thought I'd just play around. So what time is it your time, Robert N? No, he is asleep. Seriously, we have issues, don't we? Oh, that's nice. That's nice, Robert. Um, I lived in Hawaii for 4 years, but I went back for a vacation. My goodness, now it's been like 17 years ago. Um, and we went for 10 days. And the first 3 were in Oahu, on Oahu. And I just remembered, I just, I just remember it being 10 something at night and being able to go out on the patio and just kind of sit there. Well, my dad did. I was a military brat, and my dad was stationed there. So, so yeah, I was 4 through 8 when we lived there, and I mean, it was great for that age. Flip flops or no shoes. You know, Getting to play all the time. When I went back and visited, so we lived um, on a cul-de-sac, and of course, as a child. that cul-de-sac was huge. When I went to my friend's house across the cul-de-sac, it was, "Oh, I'm gonna go way over to Robin's house," or "I'm gonna go way over to Devlin's house," or whatever. And, when I went back as an adult, I thought, "Oh my goodness, I could literally hop to, um, the little island in the middle of the cul-de-sac and then hop to the other side," um, where my friends lived. It was teeny, but it felt so huge to me as a child. So, it was a great, great place to live. Um, we moved there from Alaska, and we made my dad when we were leaving Alaska, my sister and I were crying and crying and, "Oh, we have to go to Hawaii. Oh, it's so horrible." Oh, my dad said, "Oh, it's only 4 years," to a 4-year-old, right? And so we made him, we're like, "Only 4 years, Dad, you promise? We'll only be here for 4 years?" We had no idea what we were talking about. It was great and not, of course, when we had to leave, we didn't wanna leave. Um, so yeah, yeah, no, Joe Mama just, I literally was just coming on to play with buttons and see if I could do it, and, uh, and all of a sudden, Joe Mama popped into the chat, and I was like, "Oh, hey, you're here." So, anyway, yes, I lived in lived there. Low 60s. I'd love low 60s right now. I don't know what it is. What is it, James? You're not so far away from me that it would be. You know, do you do it on the webcam piece, Robert? Um, because I I remember at one point trying and it felt like all it did was buffer. Um, and then trying and it telling me that I needed to download an encoder, and I'm like, I don't know what an encoder is, and oh my goodness, I need headless because I don't know what they're saying to me and all of this stuff. And just even tonight, I um, was trying to play with it again, and then I was giving up, and I just saw this other little button. I went, hmm, I wonder if I could do it that way, and it worked. It was the webcam way versus the live streaming. So I didn't live stream. I Even though I picked the live stream piece, there was another tab that said webcam. Robert Wallace, what do you do? Hmm. Well, this is my first time, and I fumbled my way into it. If I am successful in doing it again, then I'll try to share with you um, how I did that. You use OBS. Yeah, see, you're speaking way above my head right now, Robert Wallace. Yeah, do you see a webcam option, Robert, when you Robert N. Nas. What if I just called you Nas? Or no? I, no, I'm just gonna start playing with your name. You're not a techie guy, Robert Wallace, but you're light years ahead of me on this, at least. So I will, um, I will try this again and see how it goes, and if I can if I can do it a second time and do it right. Oh, you have a Mac. I don't have a Mac, so I don't know if that changes anything. But I don't know. I just can't get behind um, I anythings. And I know I have people in my life who say how wonderful they are and how they last for forever and all that, and I can appreciate that. I think I'm trying to. I'm trying to be mature enough to appreciate that. Okay, OBS is a platform. Okay, see, I'm still lost. I'm so sorry. I'll get better. I'll get better. I'll learn this stuff. I mean, my goodness, the process that I've gone through even just this weekend with posting those videos and learning how to I mean, I didn't even know I had the capability to put in an intro and, to fade out and whatever else. So I'm learning all sorts of stuff. Sorry, Joe Mama and D. D. A platform is an oil rig in the Gulf. That's awesome. See, I wouldn't have gotten that one either, but I still didn't get the initial platform reference either. So see, Bill has his drink. I have my water. Yes, I did upload part 3, um, and I figured out that I have 4 more parts to go. I think I have 4 more parts to go, um, and they're really close to, um heavens, James! And, they're really close to being ready. Um, I just got interrupted earlier, and um those I think I should be able to get the other 4 parts up tomorrow or by tomorrow sometime. So, yeah, I mean, or maybe more. I still have to make sure because Headless, you helped me out with the whole 1 gig thing because I realized that what I was trying to upload was 3 gigs, which is why it was having so much trouble. Um, and then I had to figure out how to split my videos in or my video into multiple videos. And shockingly enough, I bought this program recently for something for my daughter's. Well, we thought it was going to be something that she needed for her college class that she's taking, her online class, and so I bought it thinking we'd have to use it to get this assignment in. It didn't end up working for that anyway, but I had it and it worked for all this. I was able to do all the splitting and cut out some. It was great. I got to cut out some stuff that I'd really messed up on or whatever, and so uh, it worked out, and I was able to put the intros and the exits in. So yeah. Oh, I was D. Yeah, that reminds me. Earlier, I was talking about um, Fiona's book. I have I've been exposed to a lot, but um, I think it's chapter 13 in her book. I mean, I think it's extremely informative, and I think it's a great resource, and I think it's um, something to read or watch. You can also download it. I have seen it in text form out there. Um, but um, chapter 13 on the video, on Kaz's video, said something like explicit or something like that. And I thought, explicit? I mean, I've been listening to 12 chapters of this, an intro and 12 chapters. How can this be explicit? And yeah, if you do watch it, which I actually would, I mean, I absolutely suggest watching it or reading her book or whatever. Um, but be warned that chapter 13 is a rough one. That was one where I had to take a night off from listening and come back later because it was, oh, it was so hard. So, but yeah, it's disgusting. And, um, and it's not a standalone thing. It's totally tied in. It is very interesting because, and I don't know if I've posted this part yet either, but because the PEDO movement and the uh, homosexual movement were tied together. They did travel together, and it was at the point where the homosexual movement decided to, in order to further its agenda, it needed to separate from the PEDO movement, and um, and that's really interesting. That they were really affiliated in that way before, um, like 60s, 70s, um, and then they had that separation. And you see in the 80s is where I think homosexuality really started with the HIV and AIDS scare, where I think I reference Ryan White in the last video that I will load up. And I don't know if you guys remember who Ryan White was, but he was a little boy that contracted and died eventually of AIDS. And they really used him as a poster child for what what you for informing people. Yeah, a little bit like they did. I mean, it was interesting because they played it on the 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 issues with blacks, right? So blacks used to have their own water fountains and their own entrances and their own bathrooms and their own whatever, right? And and so with Ryan White, that was one of the things that they came out and were saying. They need to educate people. You don't need to worry about sharing a water fountain with someone who's HIV positive. You don't need to worry about, they don't need to use their own bathroom. They don't need to whatever. Um, and so it's just interesting how they really tie into that emotional manipulation of things that have worked before, even if they're not related. And by using this little boy um, as their poster child for HIV/AIDS, um, it it allowed them to take the spotlight off of the homosexual community being attached to that. Yes, good night. All right, thank you, Robert Wallace. Have a good night. Um, but yeah, um, they attached to that, and by doing so, I think that helped them make homosexuality. Right, that was part of the process, I believe, in them normalizing homosexuality in our society, in our culture. Um, and so, like I said, I think this is just a rinse and repeat, and you'll see that in my video too. Um, homosexuality. wasn't about PEDO. It wasn't about bestiality. It wasn't about whatever. It was about, um, it wasn't about the slippery slope. We didn't have to worry about that. It was about love. It was about what happens between two people. It was something that wasn't harming anybody else. Um, it was, they were born that way, an orientation, right? Um, and those are all the same arguments that we're hearing now with the PEDO movement. And so I think it's just taking this, the same page at the same book and playing it again. So I don't know, that's why I researched this. I went back. Oh my goodness. Have you guys gotten to the part about Alfred Kinsey? I don't know if I've uploaded that yet. Okay. He studied sexual stimulation I've heard two things. There were two references there, either as young as 5 months or as young as 2 months old. I'm like, what in the world? He was considered the father of our sexual revolution, right? And um, and also having a heavy hand in the development of our our sex education. And this is the man who studied the sexual stimulation of boys, you know, as young as 2 or 5 months old. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you get to that part in the videos. Um, so yeah, your blood is not done boiling. Um, watch your blood pressure because it is horrible. Yeah, Robert. Um, I know, right, Dean? Um, yeah, we're going in this society, but I guess or in this direction, but I guess that's why I'm doing this. It's because I don't want to. And hearing you guys' comments, things that, like you saying you didn't know certain things or you hadn't heard this or that kind of stuff is actually great because then I feel like I'm not, you guys are all pretty knowledgeable and woke on things. And so I feel like if I'm hearing this from you guys, then that's good. Then that means I'm not just, rinse and repeating what everybody already knows. Um, so sorry, I should probably look at the camera. I keep looking at I'm talking to the chat box like I'm talking to you guys, and I should probably be talking to the camera to talk to you guys. But yeah, one of my daughters saw that I was posting on YouTube, and she was like, "Oh, excitement about all this stuff." And I said, "Girl, that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because um, it's important." And oh, okay, actually, I it makes me a little bit teary eyed, actually. Um, but these are babies. And I'm one of those people who, even my youngest who is in high school, she's still my baby girl. Um, you know, these are innocent children. These are babies. And it is ridiculous that anybody would want to hurt them. And it's a huge twist of the mind to think that having a sexual relationship with a child is something that is nurturing and beautiful and um, and two-sided, completely two-sided. Um, yes, they are sick. You're right. So um, yeah, I'm hoping, Joe Mama, that um, that your granddaughter doesn't actually have to face it, because I'm hoping that things are turning around. I mean, we feel like Trump is turning around a lot of things. Um, the just the fact that so many um, PEDO rings and um, Kitty PORN rings have been busted since he's been in office is huge. The trafficking, oh, and it's all tied together. My gosh, what is it, like 8 million? I have a little bit more research to do before next week, I think, on this one, but like 8 million um, kids go missing annually. Um, and what was it, like 6 to 800,000? I have that note somewhere in in our um, in our country, and that's just for the ones that we know, the ones that have birth certificates, and um, that we can track and know that they are missing. That's not to count all the ones that we don't know about. So, oh, ridiculous. Um, yeah, Robert Wallace. Yeah, and it's not all. Unfortunately, um, they are some of the most skilled at reading people and at manipulating and at um, picking targets and at knowing who. Um, so yeah, not good stuff. They are yeah, Robert and yeah, headless. And that's it, right? I mean, it's an intentional agenda. And I've always been impressed with um I'll say leftists, um, with the lefts and the leftists' ability to plan ahead and to be really intentional and methodical about advancing their agenda. Um, oh, absolutely, Jamal. Um, but it's Trump is the first I've seen. Well, Trump and Q and all of that is the first I've seen of us being really intentional and um, methodical about the moves that we're making. So yes, boy, sorry, really heavy subject for the middle of the night. um, I feel like I should um, find something a little bit more upbeat to end this on. Um, I hate to send people to bed like that. Um, I don't know. What do we got? Oh, I absolutely agree, Robert N. D. Yeah, you said the word. Okay. All right. There you go. There you go, D. That was a good one too. You just had to I just had to read it. I'm telling you, my mind. What time do you all have to get up in the morning? Oh no, I'm getting on again. Okay, sorry. Now we're just gonna be on this cycle. D and Joe Mama and myself are all gonna be just and Robert's like, dude, it's only 9 o'clock. What's the issue? 3:45. Oh, Robert Wallace, yeah, you need to sleep. Thank you, Joe Mama. Yeah, that's true, Headless. You're already up. Just kidding. Sorry. Oh. Right, you get up at 4:30, so really you get up really early and 5:30 James. Okay, did I do that right? Okay. Sorry. That's me. I'm just a goof. So, yeah, we got a lot of early mornings. So, so yes, I don't have to get up quite as early as some of you. Um, but yes, good night, Joe Mama. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yes, and I know that these can drag on for too long too. So, and I know I can just keep yapping. James, don't say anything. I hear you. Um, but yeah, so I appreciate you all showing up. When I was just testing, you gave me lots to test with. So that works. You guys have a good night, and I will go ahead and end this. Um, yeah, I just appreciate it. All right, love you all. Good night.